Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome to the TMZ Podcast. Derek here and a very special guest live streaming in from the Hamptons.
Katie here.
How you doing, Katie?
Oh, boy. Oh, good. Let's jump right into it because there's some hot stuff going on today.
I'm telling you, sometimes we're stretching a bit here. I think we've got an actual full stack of stories, though, so I'm very excited about the day. A good mix of happy and sad things and interesting things. So let's start with...
Who doesn't love a mix?
Good
Who doesn't
mix.
love a sprinkling of sad?
A very good mix with a little dose of sad. All right, so TLC's Chilli. You know Chilli from TLC was spotted at a beach in Hawaii with a very special person. The other person was Matthew Lawrence. This is the most 80s/early 90s couple I've ever spotted.
This is 90s.
And he's going through a divorce now because he was married to Cheryl Burke, the Dancing with the Stars star, for a couple years, right? And they are going through a divorce. She filed for divorce 6 months ago. So Matthew is a single man, still very good looking. The Lawrence family, one of those families that just deals good looking.
I mean, just so good looking.
Joey was heartthrob, Blossom heartthrob, and then he had his little rap
love of
career.
my life.
Love of your life.
He doesn't know it, but he's the love of my life. Joey Lawrence.
So they say it's not romantic, but you always see these things, and then there's a little bit of a lag, right? We're not romantic, and then all of a sudden we're going to see them holding hands, and they're going to have to fess up. So I don't know. The claim is that nothing romantic is going on. They're just good friends, but I don't wade into the water with Chilli. I just don't do it. You would never see me wading into the water.
Nobody's wading into the water with a friend. You only wade into the water if you want something more, right?
It's very romantic.
We can all agree. And when you look at them in these videos, they're kind of even like they're very close. They're very close to each other. When you look at the photos of this, they're very close to each other. They're sharing intense conversation. Like,
let me paint you a picture. Katie and I are very good friends. You will never see a picture of us wading into the water that close. When we have conversations, we keep a respectful distance from one another.
We've been doing the 6 feet rule before COVID was even around. That's my general rule when I hang out with you. I need 6 feet or more. Otherwise, it's uncomfortable.
We've had a very safe relationship throughout the pandemic and beforehand. We just keep that distance and always a nice juggling distance. Sometimes she'll come in my office and she stays across the desk and she juggles and things like that. Very entertaining, but no wading in the water. So I think this is going to end up being romantic. Right now, they are, as I said, the reps are saying nothing dating. They're just good friends, but I know a good way.
And I mess it up. I'm sorry. Cheryl Burke was married to Matthew, not Chilli. They've never been together.
Thank you for clarifying that because I was looking at my notes and I said, maybe she knows something about a secret marriage to Chilli.
So this could be just a hot new 90s couple alert.
I'm here for it, as the kids say, because I love both of them. And they just scratch an itch for my 90s nostalgia that hasn't been scratched in a while.
I need you to never say scratch and itch again.
I'm very itchy. I'm
excited. I think we're going to see more of them together, and I think they'll finally admit that they are together.
Okay, so there's a lot of speculation about TLC and Matthew Lawrence. Now take me to a couple where we don't need to speculate as much because they're married. We know they're together.
I mean, okay, so Ben Affleck. It's officially official. They're moving in together. If the marriage didn't tip you off that this couple would live together, this is the next clue. He listed his Pacific Palisades home for $30 million, which means he's ditching his house. So they're definitely going to shack up together, right?
I mean, they are shacking up. And when you ditch a $30 million spread, so the Palisades, so people who don't live in California know, is this gorgeous part right on the coast. It's up in the cliffs above Malibu. So you get these beautiful views from the Palisades. But he's giving it up because he's shacking up. And I think they're getting this massive, massive spread because they've got two families to combine. You know, J-Lo has the kids with Mark Anthony. He's got the kids with Jennifer Garner. They need some space. The family needs some space.
Certainly not going to make all 5 kids share one room, right? Like, we're not going to have a bunk. J-Lo and Ben Affleck are not having a bunk bedroom. The compound he just listed now was already a 7-bedroom, 9-bathroom house that he listed for $29.995 million. He actually bought this in 2018 for $19.25. So if he sells this, he's just making over a $10 million profit if he sells it at this price.
It's
And,
incredible that this was his bachelor pad too. This 7-bedroom spread. We're talking about like, oh, he's got to shack up with Jennifer. He had a 7-bedroom place. This is hardly
with a massive pool and a spa, 13,000 square feet. Like, it is crazy. So, but it looks like Ben and JLo, they've already moved into a new mansion, right? Like we've seen them. We saw them shopping. We saw them mansion shopping right before they got married, and they would get close, and then the sale would fall through. Right. But I think they actually they've done it.
They're leasing a place now, and they're leasing a place from somebody else who has a celebrity connection, James Packer. Remember James Packer, Mariah Carey, that whirlwind romance? He was the big
Australian billionaire.
Exactly. Well,
the yacht.
Yes, the yacht. Well, he owns like a bunch of real estate, and they're leasing a place that he bought for $60 million. So when you buy a place for $60 million, we call the float, the monthly float of that place is a lot. So you bet they're shelling out a lot in rental payments. So they're looking to buy because, you don't want to flush money down the toilet renting. And that's why they go mansion hopping. But he's listing this place. He'll have $10 million in his pocket. That's a nice down payment for whatever new place they get.
But I have to say, when two people are exceptionally wealthy, like JLo and Ben, it wouldn't have surprised me if he did hang on to his bachelor mansion, right? Like, they're only leasing a house now. Don't you always kind of want that area just to, not saying that it's not going to work out, because it is. They seem very happy. And obviously now that he's getting rid of it, it's like he's in it for the rest of his life. But
I agree with you completely.
If you're that wealthy, just keep a little bachelor mansion for yourself that you can pop over and just take a little alone time for a night.
A little contingency plan. They call it a pied-à-terre. It's like a little me space, because they're going to inevitably, look, they're married. Yes, they're older and more mature. They've been through the ringer, and they finally closed the deal on like a relationship that is, been the greater part of 20 years in their life. So it's probably pretty stable that they're both in their 50s now. But I agree with you. You got to have a backup plan. Got to have a back pocket.
Do you let your spouse keep their bachelor mansion though? I don't know. I don't think you do, right? I say no.
I think J-Lo probably said we're going to sell the bachelor pad. I think she's saying like, look, you'll never fully commit when you got the place in the Palisades, and I need the Ben who's all in, who pushes all the chips in the center and is ready for life with J-Lo. Now, I think he may regret it. I think he may regret not having the Palisades place. He's going to miss that
on solo spa time.
No, he's going to miss solo spa time, because this place is beautiful. We got some shots of it. You can check them out on the website, but this is an absolutely gorgeous place. But good luck to them. Look.
I think it's a great move that he's getting rid of his bachelor mansion. It means it's very serious.
Yes, it's a very big step. All right.
Living together. Best of luck.
Best of luck to Ben and Jen. I hope those two kids make it, Very, very successful couple. I want to go to our sad story. And this is a very, very personal story for both Katie and myself. Olivia Newton-John passed away. And, it's hard to overstate how important she is, but I think she's important to people our age more than the younger generation. So this was a good reminder, if there's ever a good reminder in death. She was fighting cancer for 30 years. She was first diagnosed in the early 90s, was in remission for years, came back in 2013 and then again in 2017, and she finally succumbed to it after that long battle. But she was massive. I mean,
oh my God, are you
not
kidding?
Just Grease.
Grease?
Yeah,
but who didn't just watch Grease every single day and then go sing all of her parts alone in your bedroom mirror? Right?
It's like The Wizard of Oz to me. It was a movie that was constantly playing. There's some of these movies that they're just timeless. You watch that, it's a capsule. It's got young John Travolta. It's got young Olivia Newton-John. The songs are incredible. The entire soundtrack, and she's so critical to it because she was adorable. She was like a Meg Ryan type figure who could sing. And
but then she had huge success, like Let's Get Physical, right? Most popular song from the 80s, bigger than any Madonna hit.
It's crazy. Take that in.
Everything. I mean,
she has the biggest song from the 80s, the decade with Michael Jackson, Madonna, Bruce Springsteen, Prince.
And
it is Olivia Newton-John.
Even after the cancer diagnosis, I mean, she was just doing concerts in Vegas up until a few years ago. Because my sister was still paying for the meet and greet. I mean, we really love Olivia Newton-John in my family. And
you posted a very touching tribute. You did, where you were singing with Sully, Hopelessly Devoted to You. And it really seemed to affect you by the firelight.
I really just have been blasting Hopelessly Devoted to You for the last, 48 hours. But, you know, she had this super close relationship with her daughter. And she even did a bunch of interviews when she first got this diagnosis, that her whole reason for fighting so hard was because she had this really super close relationship with her daughter. They had such a lovely, it seemed like her daughter was there every step of the way during this fight.
Absolutely. Chloe Latanzi, who is her only child, actually. So she's 36 years old now, and obviously very close to her mother. And as you were saying, the tributes have been rolling out. And one of these tributes was from an Australian TV reporter named... Sorry, what is it? Oh, named Richard Wilkins. And you can watch this clip where he is just overcome with emotion because she was British born, but she was such a fixture in Australia. She was raised in Australia. So obviously a lot of the news, the news media knew her on a personal level. So she gives this touching tribute where he says he's numb and still grappling with the reality that she's passed. And then Chloe, Olivia's daughter, leaves him this very, very touching message. We got the clip here.
Hi, Richard. This is Chloe. I just saw your beautiful tribute to my mommy, and I just wanted to hold you. I saw how much you loved her, and I just want you to know that she's free now, and she's out of pain, and all the family's here together, and she's making the sun shine, and the dogs are running around and barking, and the horses are galloping, and I just want you to know that she's free from pain now, and she fought so hard, and I was with her every step of the way, and I just felt your love, and I want you to know Mommy and I both care about you so much. So I love you, my friend. Thank you for doing that.
It's
so
heartbreaking.
Raw. Yeah.
I know it really is. But I loved what she said, how she's making the sunshine. And she's obviously, you know, they lived on this ranch, and Olivia Newton-John loved, she had mini horses because she said she couldn't ride anymore.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger's mini horses? Yeah.
So she had 2 mini horses so she could still get her horse fixed. So she was like, she said, I can't ride anymore because I think of the cancer. So she would just go down and pet her horses, and she had dogs running around. It just seemed like the most beautiful place. So for her daughter to paint this picture, just saying like, I can still feel my mother's presence. Oh, it's so beautiful, but also just heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's really aching. You can hear it in her voice. And like I said, this was Olivia Newton-John's only child. So their relationship was so close. And Olivia was actually, quite vibrant until the end. There were pictures just a few days before her passing with Chloe, and they just look so close. You know, I have kids, so I'm a sucker for these like sort of parental relationships. But really, when there's just one, when it was just Nixie before Carter,
would you stop?
The depth of the relationship is so much deeper. Now Carter, I gotta divide it and deal with this guy.
He came in. Yeah. But it's also, I think it's lovely to say too, that in all the pain that her daughter Chloe's feeling, that she's still taking time to reach out and comfort others, like letting this reporter know how important he was to them is also a really beautiful thing. And then John Travolta's tribute killed me, how he signed it. Yours from the moment I saw you and forever. You're Danny, you're John.
It's even you just quoting John Travolta, it gave me chills because he has been so consistent. There's a clip going around now as well that he really fought for her to be Sandy. There were other people in consideration. Remember, John Travolta was already on Welcome Back, Kotter. He was kind of a big star, but she was this huge pop star. And they were thinking about another pop star for this musical. They were thinking about, I think, Linda Ronstadt and people like that. And you can just imagine, as much as I love Linda Ronstadt, the movie is made by John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. So all these tributes, he's obviously devastated over the news. And it's just a huge loss.
It's so sad, but you know what? Her music and her movies will live on forever. So at least we have that.
Yeah, and all of them are shooting up the charts on Spotify, which is lovely when you see like Physical on the number 1 spot instead of a Drake song or whatever. Yeah. All right, so let's move to something pretty serious that's going on as well. The Trump FBI raid. So there is now...
Rosie O'Donnell is happy lady. She's a happy lady these days.
I think a lot of people are very joyful. I think, they're seeing sort of this comeuppance. We've watched the January 6th hearings for so many weeks. So this is not sort of directly connected. At least the warrant was about records that he removed from the White House. So when you are president, you don't own the records. There's statutes, that the Presidential Records Act, that says you got to leave certain stuff, you have to preserve certain things. But apparently, he flouts laws openly. He thinks he is the law. So when he left the White House, he brought a bunch of boxes, and they were trying to get access to that information. There seems to be something more afoot. They think there may be something criminal, obviously, because when you get a warrant, you have to show probable cause that a crime has been committed. And they raided the place. So they were there for hours. They went into his safe. He says Donald Trump says they ransacked Melania's wardrobe. They were really tearing the place apart and kind of.
And they were not there, right?
Trump and he was not there.
He was in New York, which was the FBI wanted to make sure he wasn't there, right?
Yes, because otherwise you've got to cuff the subject and detain them off to the side while you search the premises, because you don't want them flushing documents down the toilet, trying to shred them, interfering with the search. So they did it in as palatable a way as possible as you can do to a former president. But obviously he came out with statements saying this is a witch hunt, his usual fake news media. They're going to find nothing. We'll see. But he's even going as far as to say that they might have planted evidence. Of course he is. Because all he does is sort of will things into existence by bloviating to his supporters that it's already illegitimate before the investigation is even concluded, because he's setting that narrative. He's a master of this, and we'll see if it works this time. But if they find smoking guns, it's going to be a tough situation. Well, parallel.
And now Hillary Clinton is selling hats that say butter emails, which I think are actually pretty popular. I think they're flying off the shelves.
I know, because everyone is saying, well, what about her emails? What about Hunter Biden's laptop? Why didn't you do this to them? Everyone is sort of saying it's politicized if you're a Trump supporter. If not, it's sort of just desserts if you're on the left. So we'll see where this shakes out. But in parallel, there's New York Attorney General Letitia James has had an axe to grind with Donald Trump for a long time. She's been doing a civil investigation of Donald Trump for a long time and has made many quotes to the media that she's going to be a gadfly. She's going to bother him. That's one of her sort of chief priorities. And so she was going to depose him. And she brought him in. He comes out. There's pictures of him with his fists raised. And he released a statement that said, I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment privilege, which for Donald Trump to stay silent is a big, big deal.
Unprecedented. He's never stayed silent a second in his life.
And in a matter of fact, he has clowned people who have invoked the Fifth Amendment. And so he notices his own hypocrisy. So here's part of his statement. He says, I once asked, if you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment? Because he used to clown people who stayed silent. And then he says, now I know the answer to the question. When your family, the company, all the people in your orbit have become the targets of an unfounded, politically motivated witch hunt supported by lawyers, prosecutors, and the fake news media, you have no choice. First of all, the grammar in this sentence is impeccable. He didn't write it. He definitely didn't write this statement.
Definitely not. No,
it does have witch hunt. It's got a few of his favorite phrases, fake news media. But him taking the Fifth is a very, very big deal, because this is going to have huge implications for what happens in 2024. Will this gambit work? Now, if he gets deposed and they find something harmful, it could really hurt his chances of running in 2024. So it seems he's kind of running out the clock and making sure that he's managing all these disastrous things that are happening to him. But this is a big development. We have never seen a former president's house raided by the FBI. Never. It just hasn't happened. Not Nixon, not any of the people you think of had this happen to them.
And if he did take documents, you can serve jail time for that, right?
Absolutely. Decades. These are when you're a servant of the American people, you're subject to these statutes. If he took these documents and he shredded them and put them down the toilet, and who knows, there's been lots of speculation. Those are crimes, and he could serve time, and you get the sense that he doesn't believe that he is subject to the same rules as the rest of ordinary civilians.
Oh, do you get that sense?
I sort of get that sense.
I'm not sure. I'm kind of feeling like he might think the rules don't apply to him. I don't want to throw that theory out there. It's wild. It's a wild one.
Now, stop me if I'm wrong, but I think he's kind of above the law in some ways. So this is a developing story. I know it is, this
is going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. And people are coming out, and you just see the sides once again. So insane. Trump supporters on sides of the road with flags in Mar-a-Lago. And then you have, the liberals on the other side just celebrating in the streets. I mean, it's
this is the wildest part to me is that people would come out and rally around the raid. They went to Mar-a-Lago, and they are so supportive of him without even knowing what was recovered in the raid. They're already protesting the raid itself. What if he had a dead body? What if he had what if they recovered all sorts of crazy stuff?
I don't even want to know what they found in his toilets, if I'm being
It's very, very strange to me, but these are the times we live in. All right.
Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out, but let's move on, because we got a really great video we need to talk about.
This is my favorite maybe story of the day. So we've gotten all the sad stuff, all the serious stuff out of the way. We also have Shawn Mendes. So Shawn Mendes canceled a world tour recently, citing some mental health issues that he was going through. So we got him actually out at LAX and asked him, what's going on? What are you doing with your time now? You canceled this. Are you healthy? We're sort of trying to figure out if Shawn is doing well. So check out this clip with Charlie.
Hey, just wondering, what are you doing to unwind and, feel right again, on this big break?
Yeah, man, I mean, taking a lot of time just, doing therapy.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah, just taking it easy, man. I think, spending time with family that I haven't been able to, and just,
Any fun stuff? Are you doing anything that you wouldn't get to do otherwise with your time off?
Yeah, I think for me it's just, about spending time doing things that I haven't really done over the last few years, and just, having dinners with friends and stuff,
God, you're good looking, bro.
Thank you,
For
bro.
real.
If you ever need a pick-me-up, I think meeting Charlie at the airport got to make you feel good.
Well, it's really, because it was a really intense story, right? How Shawn Mendes, he canceled his whole tour. He came out and he said he just wasn't feeling himself. His mental health was suffering. And so, he upset a lot of fans. And so we're kind of talking to him about all this, and he's in therapy, spending time with family, and Charlie Cotton can't even take any of it in because he's so mesmerized by how good looking Shawn Mendes is, which he does look great.
He does look. This is shock. This is amazing. It tells you how good looking Shawn Mendes is. Charlie's a seasoned professional. He sees good looking people at the airport. He interviews celebrities for a living at LAX. And when Shawn Mendes is talking to him and clearly looking for his car, not maybe wanting to talk to him too much, but he just sees lips flapping. He doesn't hear what's coming out of his mouth. Charlie's good at pivoting and asking follow-ups. And his only follow-up is, my God, you're attractive. And he does this a couple times in the clip. It's pretty great.
But it is nice to hear that Shawn Mendes, I think I love that I know he upset some fans, but I think at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself. And if he just wasn't in a place where he could tour and spend long hours on stage, and he just wasn't mentally there, I think it's great that he recognized that. He's taking care of himself. He's spending time with family. He's going to dinner with friends. Shawn Mendes might be at Benihana right now. We don't know.
I hope he is.
I hope he is. I hope he's having a lovely time. And when he's ready and he's gone through a bunch of therapy, then he can go tour again.
Yeah, I
agree.
He'll
be like a better, improved version of himself. So I'm happy for him.
I am too. It's a reminder that, I looked it up. Shawn Mendes is 24 years old. It's very, very young. He's crammed in so much adult life already with world tours, his very public relationship with Camila Cabello, and there's just a lot that you need sometimes to reset and spend time with family and friends. At 24, I certainly couldn't have handled all the stresses that he has in his life. So I think it's good for him to sort of get back in touch with his mental health. We see a lot of young people doing this these days. They didn't used to do it in the past. They used to sort of ring out whatever career they had. But Naomi Osaka, all sorts of people do this now.
And there's a real stigma about talking about your mental health, saying like, hey, I'm depressed, I'm not well mentally. So people just wouldn't talk about it. So I love that this generation is like, hey, no, stop. I've got to take a minute. I'm not doing well. I'm going to therapy. It's okay to talk about. You should, take care of yourself too. It sends a really powerful message.
Yeah, and the best part for Charlie is clearly that he's not eating his feelings. He's taking care of himself. He's maintaining that beautiful skin.
This break obviously looks good on him because he is mesmerizing in this video. I'm just gonna play it on loop all day on my computer.
Just check it out. Just check it out.
Stop, but yeah.
That'll do it for us. Thanks for joining, Katie. It was fun.
Yeah, this was a great time.
All right,
Enjoy your day, everybody.
See you guys on Friday. Bye.